And welcome back. Yours truly, Anthony Parker Alexander. And this is Keeping It Honest with yours truly, Anthony Parker Alexander. But we're calling this one Midnight at the Oasis. It's our midnight show. We're going to try to do this on a regular basis every midnight. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, you'll see me tomorrow, but we're starting it off tonight. Midnight at the Oasis. This was taken from an old, I think, 1970s song. And we decided, you know what? What better time to do a show that's ending the night, going into the next morning. So hence Midnight at the Oasis. And on this show, we're going to try to give you a recap a little bit of some of the news that happened that day and also going into the next day. So remember, hit the share, hit the like button, and subscribe. I thank you for being part of my family since we've been doing these shows. We have short versions, we have long versions, we have short versions for as short as 5 seconds, we have long versions as long as 3 hours. Woo! You can tell I put a lot of work into it. And then we also have our live versions, which is what you're seeing now. So the way you can contact me is 216, leave a voicemail, 216-702-3718, 216-702-3718. And if you want to email me, parkerman2011 at gmail.com, parkerman2011 at gmail.com. And again, don't forget to hit the like and share button. We want to get this show to continue to grow and also subscribe. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Thank you for leaving comments. You leave a lot of comments. We have nice threads in our family where we're talking about some of the shows that we have done. We try to get both sides of the story. We don't just do the left side. We just don't do the right side. We do all sides. And at the end of the day, you may not like what we have, but at least you will respect it because we try to put it in a Parker twist. Background, been doing broadcasting for years, was in mainstream media, got into politics, very political guy. We'll talk about that on upcoming shows. Um, Ran for Congress, so I saw the political behind the door shenanigans. And if you don't think there's such things as conspiracy, there's conspiracy. We'll talk about it. Okay. Any kind of topics you'd like to have on the show addressed or people, you can let me know. We'll try to get them on there. Some of our people have included Cornell West. Um, of course, he's presently running for president. Jasmine, she's running, forgot her last name, Sherman. Jasmine Sherman. She's running for president. Um, we've had Dennis Kucinich on the show. We've had some well-known people. We've had interesting people. We had this one guy who he had a small town paper, and the FBI raided his house and his paper. And because of the stress, the owner of the paper, who had been owner for many years, she died that next day. We did a story on that. We did a story by the guy. His name is David Garrow, and he's written books about Black history. He's written some about Dr. King. He's written one about Barack Obama. And we put up clips on some of those. So go to my page, type in Keeping It Honest. Many clips we have on some shows that are upcoming, some shows that have been around since we've been doing this. And we've been doing it, kind of a short time. So we're learning as we grow, but thank you for supporting us. We also have a Patreon page. You can go to that page. And on that page, we have 3 tiers. And those 3 tiers, it's kind of like a PBS. And we have 3 tiers. So you can contribute whatever funds you want to those 3 tiers to keep us going. Because you'll see on the shows, you see that we do a lot of work. We put a lot of work into what we do. So, how was your day? Did you have a good day? Was it a long day? Are you glad that day is over with? Well, just sit back, relax, I've got something that's a little chilly. Well, it's a little hot. I mean, um, and maybe hot where you're at. Some nights you might see me drinking tea. Some nights you might see me drinking water. Some nights you might see me drinking a liquid. But prayerfully, you'll always see me. Speaking of prayers, let's say a prayer real quick. I know the ones that don't like prayers, then close your eyes. Dear God, we thank you for letting us do this show. We thank you. Continue to grow and meet people who we need to meet. We pray that we give you some insightful, entertaining information, something that you could use. And we pray that you have a good night and a good day. Amen. All right. So let's start the show. Some of the things that have been interesting, you let me know. I'm a sports fan. What kind of sports do you like? Like football is coming up. Preseason is about to be here. Man, it is crazy. I am a Cleveland Browns fan up and down. Live and breathe the Browns. I have never missed literally watching a game in decades. I mean, I may have missed some, but most of them I have not. I'm an avid fan. Let me know what kind of fan you are as far as football. Anybody watch the Olympics? I've watched some of it. I watched the swimming. I watched the gymnastic. I heard about Simone Biles. I think she placed fifth place in one of her events. I haven't read up on that story. Just learned about it yesterday. But how many people have watched the Olympics? And the controversy, revolving around the boxing. We'll get into that another time. And also the opening ceremony. And what about the basketball players? Whew, I can't wait to discuss that. You let me know if you're interested in that. We have these wars going on currently. Do you think there will be a World War III before this Biden administration is over with? Can Trump be the one that not get us involved in one? On day one, I will do everything to prevent everything from happening. Bad Trump imitation, but you know what I'm saying. And what about the National Association of Black Journalists inviting Donald Trump recently to speak? He took a lot of flack. We did a show on that, which aired not too long ago. Go on there, look for us, and we did an analyst about the show as it was taking place. And you'll get my take on how I felt about that. But I think it was twofold. Um, the black journalists didn't get what they really needed. And Trump, he did. He showed a little respect. Excuse me. Ironically, from going to this potentially hostile environment, he also went to a libertarian conference. And he spoke there. And most of the libertarians, they don't really support Trump, but he came there. He's not afraid of anything, whether you hate him or like him. He just does his own thing. And you got to give him credit for that. But of course, there are laws, and you have to go by the laws. But some people say laws are meant to be broken. And when you're politicians, how many are out there really that should be in jail, that are, or should be not in office? I tell people, if you don't like who's in office and you didn't vote, you got nothing to say. But if you did vote and you don't like it, who's in office, either you run or you get somebody else to run. That's where and how a movement starts. So I want to talk about coming up real soon. Kamala Harris, whether you like her or not, she is going to be picking her vice presidential candidate. I, of course, am upset because Mark Kelly, he was one of them, but I don't know if he is now. So I'm going to read this because coming up maybe in some hours, she will pick her VP president candidate. So I'm going to read this. This is right off of Reuters. And it says Kamala Harris's running mate narrows. So before I read that, I want to tell you about the history of this. I tell you, doing a live show and trying to get all the news is very interesting. And we're only going to be on for a short time. So I'm going to try to get as much news as I can. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about Kamala Harris's day the past weekend and her style and how she's got to pick a presidential candidate. So it says the vice presidential candidate, well, right now she's presidential candidate, but Kamala Harris likes to take her time with decisions. However much data she has, she tends to ask for more. So she's always asking for more. She does it over and over and over again. And then she'll check again to see if it's more data that she can use. So heading into the weekend, she said, okay, this is Sunday. I have got to meet with these candidates because this will shape my campaign and the Democratic Party and my potential presidency and the country. And I just don't have the time. So a lot of people who have worked with Harris, they told CNN that they doubt that she's fully comfortable with the rush as she does her final interviews. She's only got like a couple days, really. Now, maybe one day, because the convention's coming up. She's going to have that person before the convention. So now she says she's going to have it Tuesday, which is technically today. So they agree, her people, they're trying to limit her opportunities for the kind of pitfalls that have played her in the past. So they said, you got to have a structure for Kamala. It's going to be like a European style election, she says, because she's kind of like going to an all you can eat and she has to hurry before it closes. So she's got all these people. She's trying to pick which one fills her appetite. And then when she's full, pay for it, and then she's done. Okay? So you think about this, the vice presidential candidates, they usually are, afterthoughts. People don't really care, except for this year. And who did Donald Trump have? J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, very controversial. He's talking about the moms and the babyless families, the adultless, the childless families. He's taking some flack a little bit where even Don is saying, well, I didn't really think about that on certain things. When you want a running mate, you kind of want them to be quiet or you want them to be a pit bull. And you want them to be the kind of person that if something happens to me, they can take charge. So unfortunately, let's go back to Donald Trump and the assassination attempt. If he was president, he got assassinated, unfortunately. Wow. Would J.D. Vance be that person? I think J.D. Vance, besides being a flip-flopper, he has said, you know what? I looked at it one way and Donald Trump changed my mind. So at least he kind of admitted it, but did he admit it because he wants to be that vice president? Who knows? So J.D. Vance, some people are thinking maybe Donald shouldn't have picked him. And I was surprised because I ran for Congress when he was running for office, and he wasn't even in town. He came to town, got the backing of Donald Trump, and there you go. So he's learning, but this going back and forth, calling each other's names, we don't really need that. So as we go back tomorrow, Kamala is going to be on stage with her VP candidate that she only really got to get together with yesterday. So you look at that, Sunday. She had the people at her house. She interviewed them and everything. And Tuesday, you're going to have picked that person. And the American people didn't get a chance to pick who they wanted to run for president and who they wanted to run for vice president. So again, think about this backyard deals or behind the door deals or closet deals. So even if we didn't accept her as being the one we wanted to run for president, she has the pickings, not us, of who she wants to be her VP. So you've got Donald Trump and J.D. Vance against Kamala and whoever. And if you're a Democrat, you didn't have any say so in this part. So this is interesting. One idea is to repeat what Joe Biden's campaign did in 2020 when they were picking her, putting out a video of his call to tell Harris she was his choice. I remember that. It's kind of like the Obama Oh, this is Obama. I just want you to know, me and Michelle, we're proud of you. As we're looking at Kamala take the phone call with cameras all over. Come on, if that wasn't set up, we already don't believe what the Democrats do. So they're doing that. So don't do that, okay? Don't have the phone call to one of the potential people, okay? So it's going to be very interesting. Who do you think will be the VP pick? Or you can go to the VP person's door. You have Kamala and the camera walking. Well, we're going to go to this person. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We're knocking on the door. Hello, who's there? Hi, this is Kamala. And she's giggling. And you open the door. Kamala, how are you doing? Kamala, how you doing? Well, one, get your name, my name right, how you pronounce it. And two, welcome aboard. You're my new vice president choice. Woo! And then balloons and everything. What would you like for that? So Pete Buttigieg, he was the transportation secretary. He still is. He ran for president. He says this is a decision that is not just a campaign decision. This is a decision that the whole country ends up being bound by. So once she makes that decision, bam, we're bound by it. We got to go with it. Pete says the vice president has a very deeply personal decision to make right now. Who she wants to run with, who she wants to govern with, and who can be by her side when she has to make the toughest decisions for the American people. Think about that. That's serious. I trust she will make that decision on her own terms when she is ready, Pete said. Then, this is interesting. They asked him, would he be there when she makes that choice? He says he will. So now let's go into her decision making. As she reaches a decision, she is thinking about her own process that led Biden to her 4 years ago. And if you remember the one debate, her and Biden were going at it. She was like, when you made those decisions dealing with African American and busing segregation, I was one of those girls on that bus every day because of your decision. I'm paraphrasing. She's like, I don't think you're racist. She did say that. So when they had that interview, that debate, her numbers went up, but she didn't have the money to continue. So she dropped out early in the race. And then, like I said before, when Biden was running, he was running in South Carolina. He really was doing bad. And I think Senator Claiborne, that's my feeling, said, look, I'll help you get over that hump, but I need you to find me or pick Kamala as your running mate. So he got over that hump, barely won, wasn't a member out of the basement, and she became the running mate. And once she got in office and they won, she became a little quiet. She was my first pick too when she was running in 2020. I really wanted her. I liked some of her things. I know I may catch some flack because she was strong and she was African American woman too. Can you say if you're a white person that they were strong and you're a white person? That's racist. So am I saying racist? It's double standard. I'm just letting you know. So she was quiet in the 3.5 years, kind of, and then as soon as Joe Biden, decided not to run, bam, she's Kamala. She's like, I know a lot of people like Donald Trump, and I'm not scared. So we will see what happens. So now, as she reaches this decision, she's thinking about the things that Joe Biden endured and what she endured as vice president. So she kind of knows what to expect from a vice president. She'll also be thinking about the relationships, if they have some chemistry going, and if they can, show people that they're together as a group. So the people that are in contention or were in contention was Shapiro, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, and several other governors. Now, the connections, she has served in the Biden, I thought this was interesting, administration with Buttigieg, but of course he wasn't having a chance. They weren't going to get a young white guy. I was saying this. They weren't going to get a young white guy. They weren't going to get a woman, black or white. It would have to be a white, older statesman, kind of like a Biden, but like I thought it'd be Mark, and I was hoping it was. So She was still Attorney General in California doing Bashir's first year as Kentucky Attorney General, though she was mostly occupied with running for Senate then. So she kind of knew him a little bit. She overlapped for just 2 weeks with Mark Kelly, who I liked, and that included the January 6th incident. Mark Kelly, I've loved. He's an astronaut. Who doesn't love an astronaut? Who would not want to vote for an astronaut? He's an older kind of statesman. He gets along with everybody. People love him. Democrats, Republicans. I think he could learn on a job, and he is a people person. His wife had gotten, assassination attempt, but got shot, and we experienced all that with him. So why not him as the statesperson that blacks, whites, Hispanics, Italians, anybody can relate to? Perfect pick, I think. So now, the way Biden made a point of welcoming her into his family immediately after she was picked, it made an impact on Harris. But then he also said that Jill Biden didn't like Kamala because she reamed her husband at that debate in 2024. I don't know if that's true, but Jill is going to hate getting out of office because technically she's president. So one of these people said, a Louisiana congressman tried saying that. He watched her relationship with Biden. You have to have somebody who, number one, here we go, vice president pick, shares values, but number two, that you have a chemistry with, you have a rapport with, because they're going to be out there running their own thing and doing their own thing, and you have to trust that they know you, that they can represent you pretty good. They know your voices, he says. They know your priorities. They know your values. They know your positions, and they're going to execute them. So it's very, very important to have somebody who you have a great relationship with. Now we know that J.D. Vance, does he have a great relationship with Donald Trump? Donald Trump says he likes him. He loves his story. I love his story too. But would he be a great running mate? Only time will tell. Excuse me. You're watching Midnight at the Oasis with yours truly, Anthony Parker Alexander, as we go about today's events. Coming up in some hours, VP Kamala Harris, presidential candidate Kamala Harris, will be picking her vice president candidate. So over the days, she's, background's prosecutor, so she's probably asking a lot of questions. She's trying to get the pros and cons of what makes these people tick. So they're all coming to her house or come to her house. She's talked to Biden. She has talked to Barack Obama. Of course we have. She's had polling groups and focus groups, or her people have. She is expected to meet with her team on Saturday, which she did, for a series of in-depth presentations on each of the finalists. They got to be vetted. You can't have anything bad happening to these people, their background. You have to have everybody doing good. Advice has been coming in. People like, yeah, we want to help you with this. We want to help you with that. And at exactly at this time, in the summer of 2020, let's go back, when Biden confided to Obama that he was worried that given the lingering bad feelings about how Harris had attacked him, could he use him? Could he use her? And Obama said, you know what? We didn't have the same relationship too when we started. So go ahead. It'll work out. And a lot of people wondering, has it? So she's been less emotionally driven than Biden. Biden has dealt with people on a longer term. She's still new. She's still new at this. She's going to recognize that she's in a tough race, and that it's going to be about what she does and how she does it that the American people will possibly love or hate. That's the background on that. So now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. Coming up, a couple hours, she will have her running mate, maybe, for vice president. Some people say she already has. I've heard a clip already, and it's a clip of who her vice presidential candidate might be, Josh Shapiro, and it was like in an ad saying that they support him, and this was released a couple days ago. Now, how could you release that? They said they accidentally hit a button and it was released. How could you release that by mistake? Really? You got a team of people? Then if that's showing you what that team is and you got it released, do I really want you sitting in the White House and controlling the buttons and the vice president, whoever that person is okay, I'm trying to work this. Oh, shoot. And there goes China. And then you got to go and call them. Hey, can you get the president for me? I think that I accidentally pressed the wrong button. Could we bring that back, that missile? Really? So supposedly they let this slip who they want. But I'm going to read this anyway. Okay? So she has narrowed her search now. Okay? And they are, here we go, two finalists Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Okay? And three sources have said this. So Harris, they said she will give this selection by Tuesday ahead of her first scheduled public appearance with a running mate in the evening. So tomorrow, University, Philadelphia, Temple University is where she's going to have her first rally. We're going to be doing this hopefully live where she has her person. It's unclear if a final decision has been made. The rally will kick off a 5-day, 7-city tour of the battleground states likely to decide the November 5th election. So election day is coming here really. So she really had focused on 6 men in all, 4 governors, a senator, and a cabinet secretary in the Biden administration. 4 senators, or 4 governors. The senator was Mark Webb, who I loved. Cabinet Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Try saying that. Who I know she wouldn't pick. So she closed out the search by interviewing 3 top candidates: Walz, Shapiro, and United States Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona at her Naval Observatory residence on Sunday. She just did this yesterday. So Mark Kelly, who I love, he said, and he got people upset a little bit. He posted this on X. Now, my mission is serving Arizona, which people thought it was a sign of saying that he didn't get picked. So he deleted the post and replaced it with, now I'm upset with Mark. I've learned that when your country asks you to serve, you always answer the call. So who told him to take it down? Because he didn't want people to know, or maybe the White House didn't want people to know that he didn't get selected, so he put it out there. So the senator spokesman, they tried to calm everything down about the post, saying an Arizona senator tweeting about being an Arizona senator is not news. And that's where I say the political news, politicians, they suck. So the candidates will be informed on Monday night or Tuesday morning whether they were selected, the source added. The Harris campaign plans a social media announcement featuring the duo. She hasn't really had a chance to even meet the people. She met with them like yesterday. Okay. The vice president met with Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg for 90 minutes on Friday, told him no, and then also met candidates virtually. Andy Beshear, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker had been the other candidates in contention for the job. Harris's search for a running mate began in earnest 2 weeks ago when Joe Biden said, I'm not running. Kamala, it's you. So now you're running, and we got to get used to her. And now we got to get used to her getting used to her vice president pick. Okay. How long did it take Donald Trump? Donald Trump was ready. There was no immediate indication that Monday's market sell-off would have an impact on Harris's announcement timing. Yeah, that announcement of speaking of announcement, the market and how crazy it's been and how the Biden administration is being blamed for that. And now, hey, good news, I've got my people 4 more years. So the choice of a running mate is one of the most consequential decisions of Harris's political career and also our country, because the country has no say so. It's the Democrats who are backing Kamala. And you figure how much of that choice is going to be hers? Who's in the background really controlling all this? Is it the Obamas? Is it the Clintons? Okay, is it Nancy Pelosi? So the choice of a running mate, like I said, is very important. Harris's short list included all white men, and we knew it had to be white men. It wasn't going to be a woman. It wouldn't be two women then running, and it wouldn't be a black man because she's black. It wouldn't be two black people, so it had to be a white man. The thing was it going to be a white man older or white men younger? So over the weekend, she met with her vetting team who helped pick, and some of these people from the Obama administration, Eric Holder, whose law firm Covington and Berkeley LLP, they scrutinized the finances and background of potential running mates. So was he getting paid for that? He was vetting, but he also was a partnership in checking their finances. Holder in his office, they did that. They made in-depth presentations on each of the finalists. And according to multiple sources familiar with the process, they did the best they could. So she's weighing, because people wonder, well, who's deciding this decision? She's doing it with her husband, Doug Ermoff, brother-in-law Tony West, and a small circle of aides and advisors, the sources said. So, like I said, am I being called for this? Nobody's called me. My phone hasn't rang. Hey, you know what? This is the Harris administration. We want to get you and some other people, maybe the whole country, to help me pick that vice presidential candidate. Not a lot of time. And well, maybe because I was picked for my Democratic Party, maybe I can have the American people help me get to know my vice president. So as we get to know him, or well, him, you'll get to know him too. Meaning, wow, Kamala Harris. 7 cities, 5 days. I'm just tired of thinking about this. So these are the places they're going to tour. She's picking a guy, and then they're off and running. They're going to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, Detroit, Michigan, Durham, North Carolina, Savannah, Georgia, Phoenix, Arizona, and Las Vegas, Nevada. And they will hold rallies in each location along the 4, which will include college campuses. That's going to be interesting. Historically black universities. Where were you, Cornell West, when I talked to you about going to some of those? Union halls and restaurants. And over the weekend, they launched a program to persuade Republicans. Now they're going out to Republicans. Okay, and it's called, let me see if I can get this right, Republicans for Harris. They'll hold kickoff events in the battleground states of Arizona, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and other places. And that's Monday, that's today, for tonight. So she got another union endorsement, and this is from hospitality workers who say that she's been great at delivering for union workers. Wow. So there you have it. So what's on the ticket for today? Well, yesterday, Sunday, well, 2 weeks ago, Kamala's in the office with Joe Biden saying, well, Joe, you got to get up. I'm trying, Kamala. I'm trying. Let me get something real quick. Let me hold up 1 second. I'll get something before we do the press conference. And you're on, President Biden. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, world. So they did that. He decided to step down. He endorsed Kamala. Democratic Party went crazy. They said, okay, we're not going to pick people to run. We've already got that money. That money we should keep, because if we try to pick somebody else in the Democratic Party, we got to start from scratch and we're going to lose. So let's go with Kamala. Excuse me. Got me all choked up. Do we have anybody helping us out? Who's endorsing? Where's Obama at? We can't get Obama? Shoot. Okay. Let's talk to Obama. Let's tell him that if he endorses her with us, we'll be able to have him do his 4th term. He'll be able to be the puppet that's controlling her, just like Biden. So he finally does. And some people say he didn't want to, take away the excitement of Kamala. The Obamas, just relax, okay? To me, you're not as important to black people, American people, as you used to be. You have that power maybe inside of the White House, but outside, I don't think you have that much influence again. I could be wrong. Let me know. So he backed her, and she had 2 weeks to find her running mate. So she went through these 6 people, then narrowed it down to 3, then narrowed it down to 2. I'm not a fan. Josh Shapiro, I think, is a young guy. And really, when you pick a candidate to be a VP, and you're trying to pick it from a state that you're trying to win, doesn't happen really. You don't get that much of a gain. How many of these people who have been picked? So does what's his name? JD Vance from Ohio. Does that mean he's going to get Ohio? Trump? He gets Ohio anyway. So why pick him? So whatever you're trying to get at as far as getting Shapiro, and there are some criticisms going on about Shapiro, which we'll talk about if he's the one. Everybody's got to be vexed, and everybody got to take the good and the bad. Even Kamala Harris now. Some people saying she wasn't fully vexed. We're going to do some stories on that, so stay tuned for that. So tonight, jam-packed. We're about to close the show, but we hope to see you again tomorrow, midnight at the Oasis. If you have any questions or comments, you can email yours truly, parkerman2011 at gmail.com, parkerman2011 at gmail.com. You can text me, 216-702-3718, 216-702-3718. Don't forget to watch our streaming shows. They come on throughout the night. We have our shorts. We have some coming up throughout the night. In the daytime, we have our tape shows. We have our live shows. Go to our Patreon page. Hit subscribe, like. Let us grow. Continue to let us grow. We love you for that. Let me know what you thought of this show. The Rewatchable. You can see us on the Rewatchable. Comment on there too. We're going to try to do this every night as best as we can at 12 o'clock, midnight at the Oasis. This is our Keep It Honest show. So again, hope you have a good sleep. Hope you have a good day. We will talk again tomorrow. We don't just keep it simple. We don't just keep it real. We keep it honest. I'm Anthony Parker Alexander, and God bless.